And we come now to 0 hour 30 Universal Time. In the news at this hour, Iraqi police say at least 35 people have been killed in attacks across Baghdad. Many others were injured. The attacks come as increased security operations continue in the capital. 2 bombs hidden in cars killed at least 17 people. Police said bomb explosions at 2 markets killed at least 6 people. On Friday, a group linked to Al-Qaeda in Iraq said such attacks would continue after the death last week of Abu Musab al-Zarqawi. President Bush says the United States will urge other governments to help the new Iraqi government succeed. The president spoke during a radio broadcast on Saturday about his recent visit to Iraq. He said his administration will help Iraqi Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki to create ties with other countries. He said that Mr. al-Maliki described a series of political, economic, and security goals for the new government. Mr. Bush also said serious problems remain. Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi spoke for the opposition Democratic Party. She called for the United States to withdraw its troops from Iraq at the earliest possible date. The leader of Muslim separatists in Chechnya has been killed in a special police operation. Russian officials say clergyman Abdul Khalim Sudulayev was killed in a gun battle about 30 kilometers east of Grozny, the Chechen capital. They said 1 Russian security agent and 1 police officer also were killed. They said police paid an aide to the clergyman for information about where the clergyman was hiding. The group known as the Middle East Quartet has announced its support for a European Union plan. The plan would provide aid directly to the Palestinian people and avoid the government of the Palestinian Authority. The group's 4 members are the European Union, Russia, the United Nations, and the United States. They expressed hope that other aid providers, international groups, and Israel would consider taking part in the aid plan. The American Space Agency says it plans to launch the Space Shuttle Discovery next month. Agency officials say the period for launching Discovery is from July 1st to July 19th. This would be the first launch of the Space Shuttle since last July. At that time, a piece of protective material broke off from a fuel container on Discovery as it launched. The United States and Japan have warned North Korea against testing a ballistic missile. The warning follows published reports that a launch could take place as early as Sunday. Japanese Foreign Minister Taro Aso and American Ambassador Thomas Schiffer met on Saturday in Tokyo. Later, Mr. Schiffer said that the United States would consider possible actions to punish North Korea. Reports from South Korea say North Korean officials denied that any missile test is planned. You are listening to the news in VOA Special English. The president of East Timor has defended the leader of 600 soldiers who have clashed with government forces. President Xanana Gusmão said Alfredo Reinaldo is not a rebel, even if he fought against the forces. He also said that Mr. Reinaldo did not cause the unrest. On Saturday, Mr. Reinaldo said that troops loyal to him have surrendered all of their weapons. Yet officials in East Timor say some groups are still armed. Officials of China and Egypt have signed 10 trade and cooperation agreements. They were signed in Cairo on Saturday at the start of a week-long trip to Africa by Chinese Prime Minister Wen Jiabao. He is visiting Egypt on the 50th anniversary of diplomatic relations between the two countries. Last year, the value of trade between China and Egypt reached $2,100 million. The President of the Democratic Republic of Congo, Joseph Kabila, has married his longtime girlfriend. The 34-year-old president married Olive Sita Dilembe at a religious ceremony in Kinshasa. They have a 5-year-old daughter. The marriage ceremony comes weeks before Congo's first free national elections in 40 years. Thousands of people gathered in London on Saturday for celebrations to honor the 80th birthday of Britain's Queen Elizabeth. British soldiers marched as they presented themselves to the Queen. Later, airplanes from the Royal Air Force flew overhead. Sports news. Portugal's national football team has won for the second time at the FIFA World Cup competition in Germany. Portugal defeated Iran 2-0. The win means Portugal will go on to the second part of the competition. In other action, Ghana defeated the Czech Republic 2-0, and the United States and Italy played to a 1-1 tie. And other sports news, 2 golfers are tied for the lead at the United States Open Championship in Mamaroneck, New York. American Phil Mickelson and England's Kenneth Ferry are leading Jeff Ogilvy of Australia by just 1 shot. Sunday is the final day of play at the United States Open. The winner receives more than $1 million. Briefly, here again is the major news of this hour. Iraqi police say at least 35 people have been killed in attacks across Baghdad. The leader of Muslim separatists in Chechnya has been killed in a special police operation. And the United States and Japan have warned North Korea against testing a ballistic missile. So ends the news in VOA Special English.